Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, we will be talking about Josh Harris's introductory press conference as the Commanders' new general manager. We will be talking about some important stuff he said, some quotes, and just overall how the press conference went. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn notifications. I'm on the road to 3K subs. If you could, hit that sub button, I really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so I watched this press conference like every other Commanders fan did. And overall, it was a very solid press conference. I mean, he didn't give away too much. It was really, all of his answers to each question were very vague. They were more like political answers, which is the right way to go about the questions that were asked, because you don't want to give away too much, especially with him just being hired, and especially with this being just his introductory press conference. As he has more and more press conferences, as we lead up towards the draft, towards free agency, towards next season, he's going to give away more. But his first press conference, obviously Adam Peters, he isn't going to give away too much. But I think he did overall a solid job. Like I said, I watched it. I'm just going to read off some quotes. JB Finley tweeted. Let's start with Josh Harris first off. On Peters, he said, "In Adam, I think we have the right leader. He's a winner. He's made an immediate impact everywhere he's been. Together, we are committed to restoring this team to the highest level." So, yeah, I mean, he was on the Patriots first, then the Broncos, then he came to the Niners in 2017 as their, I'm pretty sure, president of scouting, I'm pretty sure. And then he got promoted to assistant GM. So, everywhere he's been a winner. Okay, Patriots, he won a couple Super Bowl with the Patriots. I want to say he won a Super Bowl with the Broncos back in 2015, and then obviously he came to the Niners 2017. They've made one Super Bowl. They lost against the Chiefs, and they were really close to making the Super Bowl last year. They would have if Brock Purdy didn't get injured, in my opinion. It showed this past year. But
Find
he's
this a
only
very
been
similar
to
situation
places.
from when we
He's
got
only
to
he's
San
only
Francisco
all
in
he has
2017.
experienced
A
is
lot of great
winning.
similarities,
And
so I have
that's
a lot to lean on
who
from that
Josh
experience,
Harris wanted to
both
bring
things we
in
did well
as our
and things we didn't.
general manager.
But ultimately,
Someone
we
who
were going
has
to build through
only
the draft here and supplement
experienced
through free
winning.
agency. We're going to be very process-driven and
What else?
diligent.
Oh, Peter said we're
Free
going to
agency,
build this
but
team the
we're
right
gonna build
way
through the draft
with a
here.
clear process and a vision. Is going to remind you guys what this franchise has built upon. So that was a really quick quote right there from Peters. He also said, "I'm all in. We're all in." He mentioned many times in this press conference that it's going to be a collaborating thing. Obviously, once they hire the head coach, they can really get deep into the nitty gritty of the draft process and free agency, basically everything in this offseason. But right now, they got to find their head coach first before they can get into all of that, really. Adam Peters was asked about the Commanders roster, and I feel like that was the funniest moment of the press conference, because when he was asked about the roster, he took there was like a 3 to 5 second pause he took until he actually answered the question. He said there are some cornerstone pieces on this team, but that there's a lot of work to get done in order to get better. Says he and the head coach will work in union. So yeah, basically until the head coach gets here, really not much is going to get done, not a whole lot. So we got to find our head coach first until we can get into the nitty gritty. Like I said, the draft process and free agency. But I just found that quite funny that he took like a pause there, because we really don't have a lot on the. We don't got a lot of talent. I mean, we do have talent on this team, but really our past coaching staff just ruined all of that talent. I feel like our three best players on this team, you could say Jonathan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Sam Cosmi. I like Jahan Dotson. I like Brian Robinson Jr. We just don't have that X factor player. I love Terry McLaurin. He's gonna make his plays here and there, but he's just not an X factor. Same with Jonathan Allen. He had a down year this past season. Not all of it his fault. He had that injury, but he definitely did have a down year. Deron Payne, he did absolutely nothing this past year. So we do have cornerstones. We just don't got a whole lot, and we're gonna have to build it up. We're gonna have to build this team back up. Adam Peters on the head coaching search. We're looking for the best leader for this team. We have set criteria that were aligned in that vision. It's not going to be in a box. It's not going to be offense. It's not going to be defense. It's going to be the best leader. So he said he's not looking for someone specifically an offensive-minded head coach or a defensive-minded head coach, but someone who is a great leader. That's a good answer right now. I personally feel like he's all in on finding an offensive-minded head coach, in my opinion. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, he's an offensive-minded head coach. I personally feel like Adam Peters is looking to hire an offensive-minded head coach, and I think that guy will be either Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick. If he's looking for a defensive-minded head coach, it will most likely be Mike McDonald. But that answer, that's true. There's truth to that, but I feel like he's more interested in finding an offensive-minded head coach. That's just me, though. That's just what I think. Peters also mentioned how quarterback evaluations will come once they hire a head coach. Obviously, on asked why he chose the Commanders' GM job, he said this was the best opportunity in mind in the NFL, and that's obvious. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We have the most cap space entering free agency this offseason with $80+ million, and we can potentially get up to $100 million, which is absolutely insane. We got 9 draft picks, 5 draft picks in the top 120, and we have the second overall pick, which we can use on Caleb Williams or Drake May, our potential franchise quarterback of the future. So we got a lot of resources to work with this offseason, and we got new ownership. So that alone is a huge reason as to why Adam Peters chose to come here. And we knew that our GM opening, our head coach opening, it was going to be a very, very, very attractive job going into this offseason, going into this cycle. What else do we have from Peters here? Josh Harris said Adam Peters has done plenty of research on Washington before they met to discuss his job. That dude is thorough. So yeah, Adam Peters did his research, and I'm pretty sure once he saw that we had 9 picks in the draft and a number 2 overall pick, he was like, yeah, I'm coming here for sure. I personally feel like that's what he thought when he saw how many picks we had, and we had the number 2 overall pick, potentially getting our quarterback of the future. So yeah, our resources were definitely one of the main reasons as to why Adam Peters came here. Peter says the timeline for a rebuild, you can't put timetables on it, but what I can tell you is you're going to see great competitors and physical presence on the field. Whatever the results come right away, you'll be proud of what you see on the field. I have no doubt about that. This rebuild won't be taking 3 to 5 years like Ron Rivera said. I mean, look at the Texans. They brought in D'Amico Ryans. They're on their way to the divisional round. They blew out the Browns in the wild card round. So this rebuild, it won't take long. I personally feel like it'll take like 1 or 2 seasons. We could be making the playoffs next season, playoff contention next season, or in 2 years from now. So this rebuild, it ain't gonna take 3 to 5 years like Ron Rivera said it would. Well, a rebuild would. It ain't, because look at teams like the Texans, the Lions. They're in the Lions. They hired Dan Campbell in 2021. 2 years later, they're in the playoffs. They're looking like a legit Super Bowl contender. Yeah, it does not take 3 to 5 years to build a winning culture, like Ron Rivera aforementioned. Adam Peters on Commanders roster building strategy. Ultimately, we're going to build through the draft and supplement in free agency. This is the last quote I have, and this was my most interesting quote. This means, and obviously the draft comes after free agency, but this means that we're going to prioritize, building this team really in the draft and instead of free agency. Now, I think we're still going to go big in free agency with the amount of cap space we have. We're going to have $80+ million in cap space. There's no way we're just going to sit back and do nothing in free agency with all that money. So we're going to we're going to be active in free agency, but we're probably going to be more active during the draft, especially with us having a lot of resources. We have 9 draft picks and the number 2 overall pick. Say we decide, you know what, let's trade back. We don't like our options here. Let's trade back and get more picks. We could possibly do that, but we're definitely going to build this team through the draft, which I absolutely love. I really, really do love. And if we don't, and he said supplement, which means we might just fill some holes in free agency, but we're gonna really, really build this team up from the draft. So we'll see how that goes, but whatever he decides to do, I'm all for it. So my thoughts on this press conference: really good press conference. Didn't give us too much, but it was a very, very solid press conference from Adam Peters. I am super, super, super excited to see what this team will look like after this offseason. So hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn notifications. I'm on the road to 3K subs. If you could, hit that sub button. I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.